Okay, NHL trade deadline predictions via Richard Clay, a subscriber. Submitted subscriber here. All right, Richard Clay. Tarasenko to the Rangers. I'm also saying no again because I think the Rangers would have to send money back or the Blues would have to retain. I think Tarasenko, I'm standing pat. Tarasenko, if the Caps are in a playoff spot come the deadline, Tarasenko's going to Washington. I'm standing by my prediction. But Tarasenko to the Rangers. I like that prediction from Richard Clay. It says Kane to Buffalo. I wonder if the Sabres go for a big splash. I know people have talked about Erik Karlsson to the Sabres, but Kane to Buffalo. I think if the Sabres are in the playoffs come trade deadline, I could see them making that move with their conditional first going to Chicago. And the only way that Chicago gets Buffalo's first is if Kane re-signs. So if Patrick Kane re-signs with Buffalo, then they get the first round pick. Or something like that. Yeah. Timo Meier to the Devils. I like that. I think that's very possible. I honestly think Meier to the Devils or Sabres to me would be the more realistic options, even though I want to see it to Toronto. Ryan O'Reilly to Carolina. Yeah, I think Horvat to Carolina is more likely, but hey, O'Reilly and Carolina could be a good fit. And Stastny's already there. Like, I think it makes some sense. Barbashev to Toronto, I think, is likely. If the Leafs were going for that type of player. Like, that's why I said, like, I think the Leafs will go for the big-time player, a Barbashev type, and then, yeah, I like the fit. Johnny Toews to Winnipeg, I like that fit. I really do. I think the Jets, the hometown boy, I think it makes sense to go for a Johnny Toews. I could see them going for another player like that, but if the Avalanche are willing to retain 50%, maybe they get another team involved. I think the Jets would be willing to trade a second-round pick to get Toews and bring him home. Maybe he retires with the Jets, but the Leafs going after Besser, money-wise, it would make sense. You just set Engvall, Kerfoot one way, you get Besser back the other way. If you shut down Matt Murray for the season, LTIR, you could make another move and not be worried about the cap. But the Canucks and Sens, I was putting a little change of scenery here. Zaitsev going to the Canucks. Hey, there's some fellow Russians for Zaitsev to be in Vancouver. And Tyler Myers going to Ottawa, adding some size to that back end for Ottawa. Ottawa's been trying so hard to get rid of Zaitsev. I just think, why not? It's a hot take. I think a couple of these deals in terms of players coming out from Vancouver are realistic. I don't know what the package is. If we're looking at the defense, what the Canucks could look like after the deadline and goaltending, I don't think they'd trade Demko in season. So maybe they trade him in the offseason. But Quinn Hughes, Ethan Bear, Ekman Larson, Dermott, and Stillman, Zaitsev, Philip Myers in there as well. And then their forward group, Podkolzin, Pettersson, Kuzmenko. Pettersson, Kuzmenko, that duo has been unreal. JT Miller with Studnicka and Garland. Third line of former Leafs, the former Leaf third line, Mikheyev, Kerfoot, Engvall. Honestly, that's not even that bad for a team that's trying to tank. But the Canucks do get a lot of assets if you go back to the trade. They get a first-round pick, a second-round pick, or 2 second-round picks. They got a first, 2 seconds, a third. As I have talked about, I do think they need to do their very best to try to get 2 additional first-round picks at this deadline. They have to trade someone else. So if they're not trading Kuzmenko, who else are they trading to get that first-round pick? I don't know. Elliot Friedman said they might trade Demko. If they were to trade Demko, take a contract back, they could get a first-round pick in that scenario. But I think the Canucks should try to keep Demko, get him in some games, play well, and then maybe move him in the offseason for a big haul. But the value's just not there right now. The Timo Meier one, it's tough because do they feel Holtz is enough in that deal? I think so. I think Holtz is going to be legit. But do the Sharks feel that? And then Luke Hughes coming in. That would be cool, getting Luke Hughes on that defense group. But again, maybe they want that experience with Brendan Smith.